All right, good morning, everyone. I am First Alert Meteorologist Courteney Jacobazzi. We are starting a new segment for you that you can just consume more weather content, learn about what's going on in your city, learn about some cool weather phenomenons that happen when they're impacting us here in North Georgia. We're calling it Weather Where You Are. And today, we're going to talk about something called an omega block. It sounds kind of scary, sounds kind of gloom and doom, but it's not. It's just what is ultimately going to take over our forecast pattern and give us this cooler start to May. You probably needed the jacket as you stepped out the door this May 1st, Monday, and you're going to need it the next couple of mornings as well. So let's talk about what the forecast is going to look like, and then we'll go into the omega block, and that'll kind of explain why this is all happening. So today, we're going to see a lot of sunshine. It's going to be a beautiful day, but look at the temperature, upper 60s. Some of us might only top out in the low 60s today, so definitely cooler than average. In fact, about 10 degrees below where we should be this time of year. And that's going to be the case for just about all of this week. We're going to stay below average. Mind you, it's going to be really comfortable. I'm sure we'll be missing these days as we head into the really, really hot months of the summer that are right around the corner. But the warmest we're going to get this week so far is 75 degrees. Again, the average on the bottom of this graphic here of 78 degrees. And the morning low temperatures should be in the mid to upper 50s. And kind of put that in perspective, this morning we started in the 30s in some spots, so definitely chillier than where we should be. So let's talk about that omega block. This is essentially what happens. We have an area of low pressure that brought us a lot of the rain yesterday over the weekend, and that's going to position itself off to the northeast and put us under the influence of what we call a trough. That's going to help spill in some cooler air from the upper levels of the atmosphere. Now out to our west, that's taking over much of the central portion of the United States, is a large area of high pressure. That's going to keep them very warm. Now, meanwhile, on the opposite side of that, another trough, which will keep the west coast cooler. Now, you might notice that the way wind rotates around a trough in an area of high pressure, it creates a shape in the jet stream that looks like the letter omega in the Greek alphabet. So that's why we call it the omega block. Now, the issue with this is those areas of high pressure can be extremely stubborn to break. So when this happens, a lot of times we get stuck in this stagnant pattern of cooler air, sometimes very unsettled weather, depending on where that high sets up. Thankfully, it's far enough north of us that it doesn't look like we're necessarily going to be unsettled. Rather, we're going to stay very much influenced by that trough created by that area of low pressure that is going to leave us a lot cooler. Again, underneath a trough, you get that dip in the jet stream that pulls in cooler air from the north. Underneath an area of high pressure, in the contrary, you get under this area of sinking air, and when air sinks, it warms. That also creates very dry conditions. So out to the west, where they are notoriously cooler this time of year, of course they just got done with their winter snowy season. They are about to have quite the pattern change as this omega block sets up, as are we. Again, we're going to be well cooler than normal, and you can see that setup with the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Notice where those troughs are setting up, below average to near normal here on the east coast and the west coast, but where that area of high pressure, that ridge of high pressure, is setting up as part of this, what we call, again, omega block, because of the shape the jet stream makes around those troughs in high pressure areas, warmer than normal for much of the central United States. So if you were hoping for some much warmer air, we're going to have to wait a little while. Again, these omega blocks can be a little stubborn to break, but overall it'll be really comfortable, cooler than normal. You'll need the jacket, especially for the mornings, but overall really pleasant weather. And as soon as our forecast shifts, we will of course let you know, but that is Weather Where You Are on the omega block and why our May is off to a cooler start. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. Make it a great Monday.